Outlet. He talks all things trucking. Now let's get rolling.
Hey everybody, how we doing today? Welcome to another edition of the Lead Pedal Podcast. I'm your host, Bruce Outwards. This is episode number 1001. That's right, we are getting up there in the numbers. It's as old as I am. Okay, so today, our Turnback Tuesday, you know what that means, Turnback Tuesday. It means we have a cool thing like this that goes on. All right, folks, turn back the clocks, clean up the spokes. This is another edition of Turnback Tuesdays with your host, Bruce Outwards. That's right, I'm your host, Bruce Outwards. And today we are going to talk about the oversized load and where that came from. And we're going to start right after this. Hey everybody, you've heard of Rosedale Transport. Well, you know, they've got tons of opportunities for you no matter what you want to do. You know what? It doesn't matter what terminal, because they have terminals all across North America, and they are looking for owner-operators, truck drivers, and other team members that might be of interest. The best way to find out all the information about Rosedale, the history of a 50-year company that's stable and rock solid in the industry, is to go to rosedaleGroup.com. That's right, just go to rosedaleGroup.com, and you can see all the opportunities. Look under the careers tab, you'll see what's available. You'll see they've got 800 employees, 2,500 happy clients, 15 offices, and 50 years of trust. And when you get there and you talk to them and you say, hey, you know what, I want to be part of your team, make sure you tell them that you heard about it from the Lead Pedal Podcast. All right, rosedaleGroup.com. Tell them we sent you. Bye. All right, there you go. So, hey, let's talk about the first oversized load, shall we? When did the first oversized? I don't know when the first oversized load came into effect. That could be anything, anywhere. Probably gonna, if I had to guess, I'm gonna say in the 1930s, probably when it really came in. But what is an oversized load? Just so you know, it's different in every country. Okay, so for the most part, anything that is over. Let's see here, and I'm just looking at I was looking for the US one. Yeah, so basically anything that is over an abnormal load. Hold on. Sorry, I lost my spot here. That shouldn't be the way it goes. For road, anything that is over a certain amount. So for road highway, So for road highway, we've got anything that's over 8.5 feet in dimension width-wise, and of course anything over four in Canada here it'd be 4.15. In the States it'd be anything that's over 13 by 13.6 would be classified as an oversized load. Now they say that the first pathways with trails for road were back in about 10,000 BC, a lot before 1930, that's for sure. Log roads have been come back into as far back as 4,000 BC, and there's a lot of differences as to where you are. There's paved streets, but a lot of them started back in the 8th century. So that's different places have gotten different types of roads and different things as far as the oversized. So oversized is anything that's outside of the normal limits regulated by that, and it usually requires a permit. For those of you who've probably hauled it, you probably could have, it could be anything. If you've seen some of these things that they haul in Australia and stuff are super, what they call super loads. And these are, it could be anything from bridges to, in the States, in England, they go by the weight more. In United States, they go by the dimensions more. You may need pilot cars. There's, of course, several hazards from bridges and infrastructure and that kind of thing. So oversized started in way back, because that's when they were building things, right? So we don't have an actual timeline from when they started, because they've always been around. But when they were building those roads in the initial time, you can bet there was some oversized stuff there. So you've got hazards of oversized loads. You've got signaling, which usually might require a pilot car to go with you. You'll have licensing issues that you have to deal with, special permits depending on the roads you're taking. You may have to block off highways. You may have to run at certain times of day or night, depending on what it is. And it is not a fast moving cycle. If you've ever hauled oversized load, there could be a lot of waiting around. I don't know if you remember when Challenger did the ones over here. They had like 3 giant big, I guess, brewery kegs or whatever they called those giant vats that they had, and they were moving them just from Kitchener or from Hamilton to Mississauga, and that was like a 3-day run, which normally takes 30 minutes. So anything that's too large for air cargo has to go through either sea, and this could be anything from boats to, it doesn't have to be industry stuff. Anything that goes over the legal dimensions is considered an oversized load, and then that can go by weight or dimensions, whatever it is. So of course if you've ever if you've done your training for cargo securement, you'll know that there's a lot of different areas of cargo securement depending on what you're hauling. So lots of things to think about, but I guess the first one we can say is whenever roads were built will be our first our first one. I don't have an exact date for you, unfortunately, but you can bet it was here for a long time. Hey folks, today's driver industry is changing like crazy. There's no more paper resumes or applications for you to fill out. Nowadays, it's all online profiles, and the big companies just pull right from the ministry offices to make sure that the documents they're getting are official. So why not make sure that you're official and in control of your work history? That's where Driver Verified comes in. All you have to do is go to driververified.com and create your own profile. You can create a profile, you can put your awards in, you can put pictures in, you can put your resume up there, and you know what? It is searchable. It's searchable by the insurance industry, it's searchable by the carriers, and it's searchable by you. You can send people a direct report. It's free to set up. You don't pay anything unless you start sending out reports. And you know what? The companies will even pay that for you probably anyway. But you can do this on your own. If you're a driver, an owner-operator, a company, or an insurance broker, then this is for you. Go to driververified.com, create your profile today, and get yourself in command of your documentation so that you know your work history and you have something that's presentable to the industry. And you know what? When you're talking to them, tell them the Lead Pedal Podcast sent you. All right, my friends, driververified.com. That's where I'd go. Bye for now. All right, so there you go. So there's that's some on Driver Verified. If you're looking for some of the oversized loads in Europe, it's called Convoy Exceptione. In the Netherlands, there's a lot. It's a lot of different movement. Dutch-based special transports. Romania is big into heavy, oversized. United Kingdom, it's called an abnormal load there. And New Zealand, of course, has oversized loads. United States, and of course, many other countries as well. So lots to think about there. Hey, you know what? The best way to figure out all this stuff is to just follow us. That's right. We're on social media. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and you can find me on LinkedIn. As you know, we've moved Lead Pedal Radio, so now go to mixcloud.com/Lead Pedal Radio to find our programming over there. And thanks for listening. Thanks for celebrating. Make sure you say hello if you see us on our tour. That's right. If you didn't know about the tour, go back to episode 1000. We got some special announcements in that one. You don't want to miss it. All right, my friends, thanks very much for listening. We'll see you next time. Be safe out there.
This has been another episode of the Lead Pedal Podcast. For more information or to subscribe to the podcast, visit theleadpedalpodcast.com and be sure to follow the podcast on Facebook and Twitter.